Far too long, Americans have been forced to put up with Democrat-run cities that set loose savage, bloodthirsty criminals to prey on innocent people. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we saw the results of these policies when a 23-year-old woman who came here from Ukraine met her bloody end on a public train. And here's a picture of it. This is the picture of it. And this is a picture of the woman. A beautiful young girl that never had problems in life, with a magnificent future in this country. And now she's dead.
Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Nonsense with your boy, OG Big Meaty. On today's show, guy, Trump claims that his liberal policies and liberal policymakers that are responsible for the horrendous murder of Irana Sahaskas by the hands of Carlos Brown on the North Carolina public transit system. And as you guys guessed it, this has liberal politicians and legacy media in an uproar, y'all. We're gonna see what both sides are saying about this horrendous crime, and we're gonna see, can we make it make sense, y'all? All that on today's show. Let's go.
Too long, Americans have been forced to put up with Democrat-run cities that set loose savage, bloodthirsty criminals to prey on innocent people. Really very, very innocent people. In every place, they control radical left judges, politicians, and activists, and they've adopted a policy of catch and release for thugs and killers. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we saw the results of these policies when a 23-year-old woman who came here from Ukraine met her bloody end on a public train. And here's a picture of it. This is the picture of it. And this is a picture of the woman, a beautiful young girl that never had problems in life, with a magnificent future in this country. And now she's dead. She was slaughtered by a deranged monster who was roaming free after 14 prior arrests. We cannot allow a depraved criminal element of violent repeat offenders to continue spreading destruction and death throughout our country. We have to respond with force and strength. We have to be vicious just like they are. It's the only thing they understand. 24 of the top 25 most dangerous cities in America are run by Democrat mayors. 50 people were murdered in Chicago in recent weeks, with hundreds being shot. And it's time to stop this madness. The people of our country need to insist on protection, safety, law, and order. It can be done. It can happen fast. All we want is, please, Mr. President, we need help. Chicago needs help. Other cities needs help. We'll do what has to be done because we're going to make America safe again. And that includes our big cities. We're going to make those cities safe.
Whoa, y'all. I guess here we go. Now, before I even get started on this, I want to just point out that the first thing that seemed weird to me when I even start opening up my phone and seeing this story going viral everywhere, seeing this video viral everywhere. And if you guys are unfamiliar with this case, we're going to get into details about the act. We're going to have videos that detail the act. So I want to warn you guys that it is very, very, very explicit and very heart-wrenching video to see. So I will give you guys that warning. But guys, the fact of the matter is, I can't believe that we're just now hearing about this. We're in September. This vicious act occurred in August, y'all, nearly 3 weeks ago. And we still wouldn't have got no media attention on this if not but for the president of the United States calling out these liberal politicians, these liberal policies that free these career criminals who continuously plague our communities, committing these senseless acts of terror. And no one wants to address these acts accordingly because most of them are being done by black men, and black folk don't want to admit that black folk are the violent people in here. Black folk don't want to admit that black folk is responsible for mostly all violent acts in these great United States of America. And it's sad that we got to sit here and do another show about this after I've been doing so many shows of all this senseless violence that's been aimed at women and children. And it's sad because every time I release a video like that, it gets 14, 15 views. But the moment I do something silly or something on here, man, thousands of views. We should be ashamed of ourselves as Americans to see this type of derangement happening in our country and paying so little attention to it. And the biggest culprit of all is, of course, legacy media, liberal supporting media. There was no coverage of this horrendous act. But Penny, who was protecting people on the subway, got continuous national coverage. This is absurd, and I'm glad that we have a president who's calling these liberal politicians, these liberal policies, as well as legacy media out on this. For there have to be no coverage of this for 2 to 3 weeks on legacy media is mind blowing to me, man. It's mind blowing to me. It's so ridiculous that our White House press secretary, Carolyn Levitt, had to go in a press conference and call these people out for their derangement, y'all. Check it out.
Today, I would like to address the tragedy that has not received nearly enough media attention, the brutal murder of Irina Zarutska. Here are the facts that many outlets have shamefully and intentionally failed to report until President Trump drew attention to it. On August 22nd, Irina Zarutska was stabbed to death on the rail system in Charlotte, North Carolina, by a savage career criminal. This is a public transportation system that many in the area use every single day to go to school and work. Irina was on the train that night traveling home from her job at a pizzeria, still in uniform from her shift. This beautiful, innocent 23-year-old young woman was a Ukrainian refugee who had recently fled her country for a chance at a safer life and a promising new beginning here in the United States of America. But tragically, a public transportation system in a major American city was more dangerous than the active war zone that she left. The president and the entire White House are praying for her family and friends during this unimaginably difficult time. But while we extend our thoughts and prayers, we must also seek justice for this crime and call attention to this heinous incident. Surveillance video of the killing was finally released to the public this past Friday. It shows the alleged killer, DeCarlos Brown Jr., pull out a knife, get up from his seat behind Irina, and prepare to thrust a blade into her neck before the released footage gets cut. This is pure evil on full display. The most enraging and unacceptable part of this story is that her death was entirely preventable. DeCarlos Brown never should have been on that train that night. In fact, he should have been behind bars. DeCarlos Brown has been charged with crimes no fewer than 14 times, dating back to 2011, including for armed robbery, felony larceny, breaking and entering, and shoplifting. Brown had previously served 5 years in prison for a robbery with a deadly weapon charge, and he had also forfeited bonds 3 different times, twice in 2014 and once in 2023. Despite all of this past documented criminal history, when Brown was arrested yet again in January of this past year, a Democrat judge, who I will add was a strong supporter of former Vice President Kamala Harris, released this insane criminal once again without requiring him to pay any bail. He simply had to sign a written promise to return for his court hearing. Think about how crazy it is to ask a career criminal, someone who by definition repeatedly breaks the law, to just sign a written promise and come back again another day. This is madness.
Now, guys, you guys got to agree that this is madness, because the key word here is this guy was a career criminal. And I know all the liberals, all the progressive woke folks, the social media personalities, the commentators, the media pundits. I know they're gonna get on here and say this is clearly an example of mental illness. This is exactly why we need more progressive programming, more social programming in these communities, especially these underserved communities. These marginalized communities, these poor, impoverished communities. I know you guys is going to get up here and all that garbage. I know you guys are going to do it. It's the only leg you got to stand on. You guys are going to ignore the fact that this is just a 23-year-old young woman working hard, working several jobs to try to get ahead in the country, in our country. And she is unalived by some idiot on a train that I'm sure had some mental deficits. But this could have been preventable. First off, this guy that had no ticket to be on the train. He didn't have no business on the train. This guy has been arrested for criminal activity for the last 14 years. This guy is a career criminal. And if you guys is not understanding the depths of a career criminal, then let me briefly explain it to you guys, because I am an ex-career criminal. When I was involved in criminal activity, it was my life. I woke up every day pursuing a victim because it's how I decided I was going to feed my family. So to me, crime wasn't nothing more than going to work. I'm only telling you guys this so you guys can get a glimpse into the depravity of a criminal mindset. You have no empathy and no sympathy for your victims because you already consider yourself the victim. You're saying and defending your actions based on the whole idea that these people deserve this type of treatment from some type of treatment that they allegedly did to you. See, this is what I mean when you promote all of this victim stance. You do take mentally depraved people and you encourage them. Legacy media, liberal politicians, when y'all scream all of this crap, white people are the enemy, white supremacist crap, and y'all screaming this to these mentally depraved kids within this community, you get these mentally depraved acts. And it's only by the grace of God that we finally have a president that's willing to do something about this garbage, because there's no reason whatsoever that this young woman ain't continuing to enjoy her life. It's absolutely heart-wrenching.
Many outlets in this room decided that her murder was not worth reporting on originally because it does not fit a preferred narrative. Many of the journalists in this room spilled plenty of ink trying to smear Daniel Penny for defending a subway car from a deranged lunatic in New York City.
If y'all think I'm overreacting to how demonic this whole act and this whole situation is, y'all, let's go to Fox Laura Ingraham and look at the report she did on this horrendous act. And you guys tell me if me or President Trump or the rest of us American patriots are overreacting to this senseless, horrific, depraved act.
The surveillance video shows Irina Zarutska getting on the train by herself in her work uniform, sitting down by herself in a row that just happened to be in front of DeCarlos Brown Jr. Approximately 4 minutes later, Mr. Brown pulled out a pocket knife. You see him on video open that pocket knife, and he stabbed her 3 times in the neck. He then walked off the train with blood dripping from the knife. This is obviously a horrible, horrible situation.
With her throat slit and beginning to bleed out, 23-year-old Irina Zarutska covered her mouth. She grabbed at her throat and looked up in disbelief at the man who had just stabbed her, as if to ask, why?
Dude, did you just see that footage? Like, come on, man. That is fucking heartbreaking, man. That is crazy, man. And now you liberals, and in particular, you black liberals, is finna defend this? just seeing this, watching this, should motivate everybody to get aboard this criminal crackdown. It is too much senseless criminal activity being committed against women and children in our country for us to keep ignoring it or for us to keep justifying it. The existential threat, especially to the Black American community.
Junior casually strolled away. Her face fell into her hands. She obviously knew she was about to die. So blood splattered through the aisle, and seconds later, she bows her head, slumps over her in a seat, and falls to the train floor, lying in a pool of blood, her own blood. Now, by the time police arrived, Irina was dead.
Now, here's the U.S. Attorney General for the Western District of North Carolina, y'all, who's been investigating this crime. Like, listen to what he has to say. It only makes sense. Like, let's go.
Released from state custody 14 times. He had served some
14
sentences. I think he had served
times.
about 6 years in state prison, but had a very violent past and had done a lot of terrible things before he did this just very random crime on a very, very innocent 23-year-old woman who was working 3 jobs to save up for a car and taking the train home from work.
There is no way in the world that an act like this can be random. This is nothing. This man didn't possibly wait until this girl sit down and it just pop up in his mind like, oh, I'm finna snap this lady in front of me in the neck 3 times. That's not how that happened, man. This here career criminal had criminal intent from the moment he left wherever he's staying at that day. But of course, watch, man. But I'm gonna show you guys how these liberals is gonna try to defend this level of depravity. I'm gonna show you guys. Just continue watching, y'all.
Just an absolutely tragic situation.
Now, Russ, there are reports that Brown was heard on the video saying, "I got that white girl." Do you have confirmation that that in fact was said? That obviously brings it to a possible hate crime as well.
I do not have confirmation of that. We are looking at civil rights violations and hate crimes and all of that if we have the evidence to support an additional charge.
See, there's no doubt this is a hate crime. What the hell else would it be? Dude, it's pretty obvious you're conscious of your criminal activity. You've been doing it for 14 freaking years. And no one addressed the mental depravity of this guy? With all these liberal court appearances in these liberal states ran by these liberal politicians, ain't nobody addressed the fact that you've been in front of the courtroom, man, 14 times? There was no mental evaluations? Of course not. Because it goes against everything the liberals stand for. We shouldn't prosecute the criminals. We should prosecute the conditions in which raised the criminals. This is the liberal approach. We need more counseling. We need more programs, more entitlements, more attention paid to these kids. Well, I'm telling you, as one of them kids, it doesn't work. Your policies are ineffective. Matter of fact, your policies contribute to that type of depravity. You're promoting victimhood. And when a person believes they's a victim, it's damn near impossible for them to hold themselves into account. I said this on my last video. Stop all this victim standing. And it shouldn't even be a question. There's a hate law. Here's the video of after this happened, y'all. Again, y'all, this is graphic detail, so I'll warn you guys. This is him leaving the train, and you can audibly make out him saying, "I got a white girl." And you can hear him saying this. Now, you guys tell me if y'all can hear this real. I tried to get the audio adjusted, but I couldn't. But y'all tell me what y'all think. Did y'all hear that? I got that white girl. And it sounds like he might be even talking on the phone. Like he might even be talking to somebody else. Like this might be a group of idiots. Like, Like my spider senses are tingling like a mud on this whole crap. And this dude should be burned at the stake. No one should be talking lunacy. No one should be talking mental illness. No one should be talking nothing. And no one damn sure shouldn't be making the perpetrator a victim here. But just as I say that, here's a panel of CNN liberals trying to do just that, y'all. Check out these idiots.
Unfortunately, we don't have services that they used to have for mentally ill people in terms of dealing with them. And I think the problem here is, I'm guessing the Trump administration was looking for an example. This video was quite disturbing. You have the combination of social media at the same time blowing it up, and so it creates sort of the perfect storm to point to something. Just like when Dukakis, when he was running for president, Lee Otler took advantage of that one incident that was terrible, that was very troubling for voters.
Now, Trump is using this for publicity. So automatically, you people are going to just forget about the act. And automatically, you're going to try to politicize this horrendous act. Like, it is crazy, you liberal lunatics. Like, please, man, y'all are destroying this great country of ours, man.
They called attention to it.
So certain people have been looking for an opportunity to find a case like this, to make a point like this. I want to play, this is Charlie Kirk, why he says this hasn't gotten a lot of attention.
A white Ukrainian refugee was murdered just because she was white. Everybody knows that, obviously. If a random white person simply walked up to and stabbed a nice, law-abiding black person for no reason, it would be an apocalyptically huge national story used to impose national sweeping political changes on the whole country. Instead, Megan Basham, no one seems to care when a white woman gets stabbed to the death.
Wow. He said white a lot.
Well, we are talking.
He said white a lot. Now this for these race baiters, these Abby Van Jones on this panel too. You can just imagine he's finna get started with his senseless platitudes. So here we go, automatically, he's saying white a lot. Well, it just so happened she's white. Just so happened that the perpetrator committed a crime against her and leaving saying, I got the white woman. So not only is she actually white, it seemed like she was attacked because she was white. And the investigation is not complete, y'all. I'm just telling you about the details that are coming out thus far. It most definitely seems like a hate crime. And these folks on this panel need to fire these folks, man. But they not. Because, all right, let's go.
So I guess
True.
I don't think that's fair. Look, being in the system, because I have represented people who are mentally ill, and here's the balance. The balance is taking away people's freedom versus evaluating their mental illness. In New York City, there are a lot of programs for people who are mentally ill, but they have to want to be there.
Yeah, and it's
about
difficult
forcing them
because
to be there.
when you are mentally ill, you have a hard time knowing that you are mentally ill.
You might do. This is why we got professionals in this. So instead of you people just not evaluating these people when they commit crimes to even see if they mentally ill, you people tell these people, sign this piece of paper and we'll let you out. And not only that, we're going to sign this piece of paper, we're going to let you out. No bail, no nothing. You just committed a violent act, but we're going to give you a cashless bail. We're going to ask that you return on this date. You're not even requesting a mental evaluation from a career criminal. At no point in this guy's criminal activity is there details of any mental evaluation. So why is everyone acting like all of a sudden this guy is mentally ill? Just not a demonic ass criminal. Because that's exactly what it appeared to be to me. Just a demonic, lousy ass loser who need to be burned at the stake. And I wouldn't care what color he was or what color she was. The actions warrant that type of response. Not the race, the politics, the policies, nothing else. The act in itself warrants that level of response, especially from America and America's policy makers. Damn.
But also, I mean, people like Charlie Kirk, they've been looking for opportunities to make this some sort of like reciprocal George Floyd situation. And that's the part that I think he's almost giving away the game. And it's sad to see a lot of people going along with it.
Oh my Lord. Oh my. Now all of a sudden, this is comparison to George Floyd. Like, guys, look at the level of lunacy, of delusion, of derangement to compare that act to what happened with George Floyd. Black people, my black people, please, can you stop the madness? Please, it's not destroying nobody but us. I wish you guys realize that. Y'all think y'all really making a big dent in white America, but you're not. You're just making them tired of your ass. And all the rest of you academic black folk is doing is promoting victim stancing in a neighborhood where people don't need to be considering themselves no victim. Because how else they gonna climb out of that muck thinking they're the victims? Like, you people are crazy, man. Now watch what this brother said.
Yeah, let me just say a couple of things. One is, I mean, what happened to that young woman was horrible. And it's everybody's nightmare. If you're in any public space, subway, whatever, that something bad is going to happen to you or somebody you care about. So it does strike a chord. We don't know why that man did what he did. And for Charlie Kirk to say, we know he did it because she's white, when there's no evidence of that, it's just pure race mongering, hate mongering. It's wrong.
What are you talking about, Van Jones? You guys, dude, you guys race baited the hell out of George Floyd. And the situation is so different, man. In the George Floyd incident, man, you guys had a police officer responding to a criminal complaint, getting to the scene of the crime, seeing the suspect, approaching the suspect, arresting the suspect while resisting arrest, and might have killed him as a result of the arrest. This is a criminal guy. This is a law enforcement officer doing his job and a criminal committing crime who encounter one another. That's instantly an agitated situation. That's possible someone can get hurt in this situation. This is why criminals have guns. This is why police have guns. This is why they have handcuffs and billy cuffs, because they're trained for this level of work. This woman escaped danger from Ukraine to come to America for a better life, working 3 jobs, saving money to get her own car so she can get off public transportation, and gets murdered senselessly by a black deranged demon for no apparent reason whatsoever, but for the fact that she was white or a woman. Them could be the only 2 things, and in any one of those 2 things ring true, then it constitutes a hate crime. My fellow brothers, and y'all should be advocating for this, because we the one who always talking about we need hate crime laws, hate crime laws, hate crime laws. This is one where you guys should be like, this is why we need hate crime laws. This is how you guys get challenging to push the head. But y'all so full of Trump derangement that y'all don't even cover this. And then when you guys do cover it, instead of you guys covering the details and of the act and all of this and really doing a good journalistic report on the crime, you guys get on here and say Trump and these conservatives, these neocons on social media is pushing this thing, is hijacking this thing, is making it something. No, people are talking about it because we want to know, why the hell wasn't y'all talking about it? Let's go.
Then he says that if something like that had happened the other way, there would be sweeping changes imposed on society. Where is the George Floyd Policing Act? It didn't pass. Even when you
Yes, it didn't pass. Even after y'all paraded and destroyed and ramshacked every community in America y'all could after this George Floyd thing, and then y'all even rigged an election to get all your favorite liberals in office to get all these things done. And is not, still, it has not been accomplished. Period. And you people want to keep staying loyal to this devious ass Democratic Party. Boy, black folk better wake up and wake up quick because we are going down and we are going down fast because the only support and foundation we ever had was our white American, was our white Constitution. And now that we're all of a sudden, we're in an anti-white, anti-American stance, we don't have a leg to stand on. And we're going to be anti-Constitution because every right we have, every liberty we have, every freedom we have was fought on behalf of the Constitution. And every freedom of achievement we have. When the chains came off, it wasn't black people shaking the chains. It was white people killing and dying one another to get us out them chains. So now the two people, the two things that has helped us the most, we're going to go against. And that is American values and good American white folk. Them the folk that got us free. Them the folks that got us here. And now we anti them? Boy, yeah, I better get it.
had a white police officer murder a black man on live television, the whole world saw. There were no sweeping changes. In fact, not one law was passed at the federal level. So that's I think that's an important thing to point out. The other thing is you mentioned the thing about cashless bail. I think this is a big challenge that we have. Would you have felt better if there had been cash bail and the mom had come and put down $1,000 to let him out? It's not about cashless bail or no cashless bail. It's about the fact that we don't know how to deal with people who are hurting in the way this man was hurting. Hurt people hurt people. What happened was horrible, but it becomes an opportunity for people to jump on bandwagons. And then for someone like Charlie Kirk, he should be ashamed of himself. No one mentioned the word.
Boy, how the fuck Charlie Kirk should be ashamed of himself for pointing out the obvious? You got to be ashamed of yourself for sitting up here and diagnosing this thing as some fucking hurt people. You woke fucking liberal lines. Hurt people, hurt people. You people good with slogans. Boy, you the expert of slogans. Hurt people, hurt people. Hurt people that's hurting people need to get fucking hurt. See, y'all, this is what pisses me off because it's sad that something this devastating can happen, man. And this is the narrative we got to talk about this in. We got to talk about this in politics and partisanship and in black and white and in all this crap. And we can't never sit down and talk about the fact, man, this is criminal activity going amok, man. This is criminals being given free passes for too fucking long, man, to devastate and cause ramshack on our streets, especially within the black community, man. This is why most of the black residents in Chicago are saying, Trump, bring them damn troops, man. Don't listen to them goddamn liberal losers. Them people ain't down here in the gutter with us. They not down here in the bottom with us. Miss us with all this crap. It don't make no sense, man. It just don't make no fucking sense, man. Someone has to put a stop to it. And thank God we have a president that's motivated to do so. And finally, thank God, we're starting to get the right public attention to this shit, where the public is starting to desire that something dramatically be done. Because I don't care how black folk look at it, that of course, a criminal crackdown gonna appear racist. Of course, because there's nowhere in the world in America you can have a criminal crackdown and not target the black community. That's where all the crime is occurring at, 80 to 90% of it. So bring on the criminal crackdown. Bring it on. We need it. We want it. And I hope, it's maybe a little hopeful thinking, y'all, but I'm hoping after this tragedy, I'm hoping some of these liberal politicians, man, will wake up, will really, really wake up and call our president, man, and ask for help, because we have to tackle this criminal activity within these streets of our great United States of America, y'all. We can't have a person, man, working hard to have a great life and is interrupted by some deranged demon on a public transit system. This has to be unacceptable. Send in goddamn troops, man. And with that, y'all, your boy digress, man. Listen, man, if y'all found any value in this video, any interest in this video, man, do your boy a good fave, man. Hit that like button, man. Because when you hit that like button, man, it kind of pushes the video out to more people, man. And hit that subscribe button, man, so we can grow this channel, so we can grow this conversation, man. Because I'm starting to see a lot of folk waking up, meow. So let's get ahead of this, man. A lot of people are starting to, realize we need more common sense in America, y'all. So let's get on this. Let's get on this, y'all. Let's push this channel, y'all. Let's get this conversation started and rolling, y'all. And with that, y'all, man, if any of y'all disagree with anything I said on that, man, if y'all think that this has nothing to do with cashless bails or liberal policies and liberal politicians, y'all, get in my comments. Like y'all say, like I always tell you, get in my comments, man, and you say some drag, man, I'm gonna have to rap with you about it. So, man, if any of y'all disagree with me, man, if y'all think that this is not a result of liberal policies and liberal policymakers, man, then say so. I'll be glad to have that discussion with you guys. But until next time, man, it's your boy, man. I'm out of here, man, with another episode of Uncommon Nonsense. Make me day. Peace, my beloveds.